All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Tellor community call, June 30th, 2020. So it's a holiday week here in the US. So coming from me from some different locations. Um, but yeah, we're definitely ready to go for the call. And we're busy, still doing lots of stuff. So I'll jump kind of right into the updates, recap of the past week. Um, so the big thing why I think some of you guys are here, and then um, the big events kind of over the past week. Uh, so we did a minor upgrade. If you guys know, if you guys had been paying attention for the last month and a half, every time on this call, I tell you guys that if you're a miner, you need to upgrade your software. And that went live last Thursday. So, well, Eastern time, it was Thursday at 8 p.m., but it was Friday 00 UTC time. We had been posting, make sure you upgrade your miners. We're doing a PSR hard fork. That means is that, like, for instance, request ID 2 was Bitcoin US dollar. It still was Bitcoin US dollar, but the granularity changed to fit with all of the other ones. So if instead of putting in, 9,000 with 5 zeros, you put in 9,000 with 8 zeros. And that was we were making this upgrade, and then some other ones we added in. We added in daily averages for Bitcoin. We added in end of day Bitcoin prices. We added in volume weighted averages, time weighted averages for ETH US dollar price. A lot of really good feeds. Also switched out some of the currencies. A lot of really good ones, because the issue is we had a lot of them that nobody was using, and we want to, as we're starting to talk to users more and figure out what data that they need, we're making sure that it's supported. And this was a big piece of it. So we made the changes in the miner like probably 2-3 months ago, tested it, and we're ready to push it out for past month and a half. Been up on Rinkeby now for a month, and we told everybody. And of course, what happens, Thursday comes along, and then nobody's really upgraded. We did reach out to some of the miners that we knew, and we got them to upgrade right beforehand. So it was one of those things, like, how on earth it's tough to get people to upgrade. So anyway, what happened right at Thursday, the first few ones were, there were some bad values in the first two, and we disputed them. So from the team, we were sitting there at 8 o'clock on the new dispute center, ready to dispute them, and we caught them. The miners, we're like, hey, you disputed us, what happened? We're like, you didn't upgrade. So we talked with them. We fixed it right away and passed them their 1,000 tokens back. We'll just wait for them whenever the dispute's over. Because so for those of you that are just listening and don't know how it actually works, if a miner submits a bad value to the system, anybody, so us or you guys, can say that that's a bad value. It's very expensive to dispute. So right now it costs 800 TRB, because it's based upon the number of miners in the system, and there's not a whole lot of miners in the system, so it's very expensive. It costs like 800 TRB. You put that 800 TRB up as a bond, where if it's a correct dispute, meaning you validly disputed someone, you just get that 800 TRB back plus the miner stake. If it was a bad dispute, though, meaning you just are griefing the miner gets that fee. And so back to the story, we caught a few people, had them upgrade and give it back. Our general policy is that if we're the people who dispute you, we try and give you your tokens back. We don't want to be seen as we're making money off of this. then we'd be trying to push bad things. We do not want disputes to happen in any way, shape, or form. So we disputed some people, got them their tokens back, and the system was going on. And then what happened a little bit later, I think it was Sunday. I was of course busy all morning, and then I come log back into a bunch of messages from all of you, and hash pool went down. So hash pool got disputed. They had some issues with the miners. So they had previously upgraded since this network was running, and then I'm sure a lot of you do know. So hash pool is was the largest miner by far in our system. They had a very, very significant portion of our hash rate. It's not as big of a deal as if it was a different proof of work coin, and I've sort of talked about this before. We're not like the kind of coin where if you own 80% of the hash power, you own the coin, because there's the dispute process, which everyone is now learning about. But anyway, so what happened is whenever they went offline, can you guys hear me, or am I frozen? Okay, I think I'm good.
Sound good to me.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys give me a move. Anyway, so whenever they went offline, the whole network sort of froze. The reason that it froze, it wasn't anything wrong with the system. They had just pushed the difficulty up so high that whenever they came offline, it took the other miners a long time to solve the challenge. It wasn't the system didn't break or anything. It just, I had actually outlined this exact, I called it like a griefing attack by a miner. So where a miner could run up the difficulty and then just drop off and make it take a while for our network to mine a new block. And that's exactly what happened. It just took a few hours. The difficulty then, if it takes a while in between blocks, the difficulty drops. And as you can see, if you go look at the difficulty charts, they significantly dropped. And then the system, I believe, it's been running. Yeah, so now everything is sort of going as planned. Part of what happened after Hashpool dropped out, though, is some of the other miners who had previously not really been winning as much now started winning more. And then it exposed farther disputes because they also didn't upgrade. Which, yeah, that was sort of the unexpected things. And then with that, the problem with a lot of those newer disputes, though, I'm actually not the disputer, so I didn't dispute them. They were bad values that were submitted on chain, and somebody caught them and disputed them. So it's one of those things that it's tough because they're going to lose their stake, and that's yeah, it's one of those things that we wish we could do. We wish we could fix it. We don't necessarily like anybody getting slashed. We try our hardest to make sure that nobody ever gets slashed, and we try disputing people ourselves to make sure that we can give tokens back. But it's kind of the beauty of a decentralized system in that anybody can dispute, and sometimes it's not us. Sometimes we aren't the ones that win. We're still talking with some of the miners. We want to support them to make sure that people have what they need, and that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. Moving forward, the next probably big miner upgrade is going to be whenever we upgrade V2 in a few months. Hopefully there's no chances for disputes there, but we want everyone to help us figure it out, to make it better, make sure we're testing it all in Ring B, make sure that we actually upgrade these pieces, and we're going to be putting in even farther safe checks to where if the minor version you're running is different than the minor version on GitHub, it'll break, or at least you have to manually override it, just to make these pieces harder. So we definitely take it very seriously. We know it's a lot of money kind of on the line here, and it's something that's different than a lot of other systems, because most of these miners aren't used to having stakes. This is just a proof of work game. So we know that there's these issues, and we hope that we can kind of build a community of miners who helps us to make sure that these things don't happen, that you stay very involved in what's going on with Tellor, when updates are coming on, what things we're looking to do, because we're not the fastest moving project out there, but we do move fast and we upgrade things and we make it better, and we're going to continue to do so. So hopefully this is, I'm sure this won't be the last kind of uncomfortable conversation we have with validators, but hopefully we can do everything we can as a community to kind of create the best system possible. So once again, we're being as transparent as we possibly can with it. We're not hiding anything, and anybody, we don't want to punish anybody. We sort of don't have the power to punish anybody or not. It's all really, everything's on chain. We're just trying our best to make sure people know what's going on and what the team's doing to handle some of these things. So that's about that. I think we have some questions on it too in the pieces, but hopefully that gives you guys a little bit more clarity on what happened. The system is still continuing. For V2, there's going to be some features that will hopefully help some of these. So the first, we're going to be increasing the stake amount for different mining pieces for V2. If you saw, each stake is only going to get you 1 submission an hour. And the point of this increase isn't so that big miners have to stake more. Although that might be what happens, we'd hope that it just means more miners come on board. It's always one of those things, like if you want to own 90% of our hash power with this V2 upgrade, you're actually going to have to stake a lot more. And if you just want to mine once an hour, you can still have the normal stake. But we want, if you are significant, the more of a portion of the network you are, the more stake you're going to have. And we're going to be working to make that a reality. Other pieces, we had actually identified the issue whenever hash pool dropped off, if it took like 2 hours to mine a value, and I think maybe even longer, but the reason is that the difficulty was just so high. We're just putting something in the V2 code directly that says we're reducing the block time down to 5 minutes, but we just say if the block hasn't mined within 15 minutes, then the difficulty drops. So, it's just going to be one of those things that once 15 minutes hits, now that'll be like sort of a max block time in a way. Just that way that attack vector is taken away. So anyway, we're getting some questions on that, so I'll answer these. The first one is, should pools stay off the network until V2? I don't think so. So pools are more than welcome to come back. Just make sure that you test the things, you come to the calls, you stay really involved. And what I would recommend kind of every single person doing is definitely use RinkB. So we have a RinkB testnet up. Make sure you're using RinkB. Other things that you can do as well, look through the code yourself. Make sure you're comfortable with it. and then start with just one stake. So, you know, a lot of times the larger pools will come on board and they'll realize that, you know, just one stake, they're winning a lot. So it makes sense to stake another one and another one. You know, but the problem comes on with when the more stake you have, the more you have to risk. So just make sure you have sort of proper procedures for risk in there. Because, you know, if you have 5 stakes, for instance, locked up, that's 35 grand locked up into our protocol. It's a pretty significant investment. Make sure that you guys have those pieces in place. That's all I can say. I think, you know, just making sure you take it slow and keeping it telling you what the best risk reward calculation is, you know, I'm not the person who's qualified to do that. The next person asks, can you give an overview as to how a miner can best use the Rinkeby network to achieve test coverage with the new miner prior to a production rollout of a miner hard fork? It's a very detailed question. Yeah, so what I would do is, you know, so whenever I tested my miner, I logged in, so I spun up, I have like 8 miners on the Rinkeby network. They're sort of what keeps it going. We logged in, and then if you remember, a month before this one, we did the Rinkeby fork. And then I mined all 51 values on the Rinkeby test network before the hard fork. And then I mined all 51 values after the hard fork, and I manually went and checked every single one that they looked okay. You know, that's one of those things that you can do to make sure that you're properly submitting the right values. And it's just time consuming. But it's not very difficult to do. And I think, you know, and I think some of the issues, there were some people who reached out to me to test on Rinkeby, but, you know, I think if you're one of the miners testing on Rinkeby, you're one of the more proactive miners out there. You know, just the lack of testing on this, for the number of miners we've had stake on the main net versus the number of miners we've had stake on Rinkeby, there is a shocking discrepancy. So just the fact that you're going to be kind of rolling it out on Rinkeby, you know, if you're running an actual pool, make sure if it's your first pool, do it slowly, because there's a lot of issues that come with running a pool. So just people trying to, you know, trying to cheat you guys out of your money, kind of like everyone. So just be careful there. But yeah, definitely go mine on Rinkeby. Ask me, you know, usually if you have a GPU miner on Rinkeby, you'll be able to mine a value every single block, because I'm usually the only miner up there. So it's not very difficult. Anyway, I think that is it. If we have any more questions, feel free to pin them up there on the chat, or I think we may have some in the question list. Other development stuff we've been working on. So V2, we're really close to finishing up local testing for V2. Then probably later this week or early next week, we'll be deploying to Rinkeby the V2 version. We'll probably be deploying it to its sort of a whole new system. We're not doing like the Rinkeby upgrade quite yet. We'll just be deploying it for just to make sure it can actually run on Rinkeby and getting some realistic gas estimates and things like that. And then we'll be sending it off. We're using Certic again, so we'll be getting an audit of the V2 system. And my guess is that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully end of July, we get our audit report back, clean from them. We'll continue to test on Rinkeby for a few more weeks, and then we'll push out the V2 upgrade in August. So go take a look at the code. Let us know what you guys think. Um, it's it's still like the same code structure, but there are, there's some cool changes to it. So, and then we'll be doing another minor upgrade as well. But with this minor upgrade, so whenever we upgrade from V1, the V1 to V2 Tellor system, you're actually just going to the only difference for the minor, it's still the exact same proof of work calculation and the same values that are being submitted, but you're going to be submitting 5 values instead of 1 for every block. So instead of request ID 1, you'll have to submit request ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and you'll be calling a different solidity function for it. So if you actually just don't upgrade your minor, what'll happen is you'll just be submitting to an old function and you'll just be getting errors and wasting your gas. So it's actually better than getting slashed. So you'll just lose, a few dollars until you upgrade. So it should be a much easier thing for miners that I won't be as worried about people getting slashed for, because it's going to be the same values. There's no PSR changes, and then if you don't upgrade, it just won't work. So that's the V2 stuff. We're getting ready. Super exciting. It's looking beautiful. Other things, I know a lot of you guys have been using the new dispute center, disputes.tellorscan.com, which is awesome. I've been seeing screenshots up there. Glad you guys like it. We're continuing to make it better. We got a few people working on bounties for the price viewer and the dispute center to make it better. So if you guys have any feedback on it or want different things, let us know. And the other thing, I completely forgot on all these, you can go vote on them. So you can actually use the dispute center. So disputes.tellorscan.com. If you click up in the right-hand corner, it'll say disputes. You click on it, you'll see a list of all the open disputes, and you can vote whether or not you agree or disagree with the dispute. The team always votes for the validity of the value on chain. So if it's supposed to be the Bitcoin price and you submitted not the Bitcoin price with the right granularity, we're going to vote that it's the wrong price. But that's up for you guys. This is a community thing. You guys can vote however you want, and we just want to see people voting. So yeah, get out there and voice what you think should be the case. So other thing,
you need to pass out "I voted" stickers. So
yes,
people can take their selfies after they vote.
We should talk to the POAP guys about getting that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like I voted NFT tokens. Yes.
Nice.
Other things, we updated the NPM package for using Tellor. There was a bug in there that had some issues for reading some different arrays. So we pushed that. So fixing it and things are looking good. Other things, if you guys caught, when was my Matic talk? Was that last Friday or Thursday?
Yeah, it was like last week sometime.
I gave a Matic masterclass. I gave a talk. I think it's up already on YouTube. It has nothing to do with Tellor or oracles. It was on cryptocurrencies in developing nations. But it was a super fun talk if you guys want to go give it a look. And then over the next few weeks, we'll be doing some more events.
We got Unitize. San Francisco Blockchain Week starts the 6th of July, and we're sponsoring Gitcoin's hackathon and conference is named Unitize. And so we are sponsoring that hackathon, and there'll be another Building on Tellor workshop that Nick's going to do. I believe we've set the date for July 8th for that workshop, but I'll send a link to the hackathon onboarding if any of you guys are interested. We haven't posted our bounties yet, but they'll all be pretty much basically implement Tellor in some way. So any of you hackers out there, please sign up, and there'll be TRB to earn for sure for the taking. So follow that link. I just sent it in the chat. It's also in the announcement channel as well. Yeah, and also it's on the new quarterly update that we just pushed out this morning. So we changed our community updates from a monthly thing to a quarterly thing this month. And so the next one won't be for another 3 months. And so we felt like that was just a better format for this sort of thing. So we could, you know, like for example, the last 3 months we were working just on the same things we've been working on for 3 months: V2, ACS, minor upgrades, these kind of things. So when you have when you have an update to write every month, it's basically the same material. So hopefully you guys like the new format. Check that out and share it around. And we have some more updates we can't share, but we have some more events coming down the pike in the fall. So we'll let you know as soon as we sign those deals.
Yeah, and I think I know I'm on a panel for oracles next week. Sometime.
Oh, that's great.
I'll send that out in the chat. But I'm on a panel with a Chainlink guy, so should be fun.
Go. Bring your popcorn like that.
Yeah, so we're
Jackson
antagonize them.
Yeah. We have a podcast coming up that we're on next week as well.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So
Gecko guys.
So yeah, the Tellor name's getting out there, which is really good. So anyway, I think that's all the updates. So like a half hour of updates.
Yeah.
Long story. So we can knock out some questions now.
Okay. All right. So sorry for no camera today, guys. I'm on a hotspot and it just doesn't work with the camera. All right. Question number 1 is, what do you think of Facebook's prediction market app? I don't know if Brenda and Nick, have you heard about this? Facebook forecast?
Is it do you actually bet money?
So no, you can't. I guess people are speculating that one day it'll be like a Libra thing and you'll be able to get rewarded and bet with tokens or something like that. But no, for right now, it seems like you get rewarded social clout or some sort of BS Facebook, likes or something.
You get rewarded reputation, man.
Yes.
What a cool prediction market idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't like anything Facebook's doing. So.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem with prediction markets, so I've said it a million times here before. It's they're illegal here in the U.S. You don't.
Unless you put around it, you use social rep.
Well, there's a few prediction markets that are legal, so you actually have to go to the CFTC and get approved to be a sanctioned prediction market. Like, there's a certain political one where you can bet on elections. That's it's only for residents of Iowa. It's done by that university, and or there's other little ones, but mainly prediction markets where you can actually bet on things. They're for research purpose only, and that's how you get approved. But but general blanket prediction markets are just illegal here in the U.S. So they probably won't happen.
Yeah,
Brenda.
I guess that would be the one thing that would be positive about it, if they can actually push for it to not be illegal.
There you go. Facebook has the money to push for the legislature, I suppose.
No, but if Facebook, this is what happens with big companies. Anytime there's a regulation that big companies can't do something, it's not that they make it legal for everyone because it's a dumb law. What happens is they get an exemption and they're allowed to do it and nobody else is allowed to do it. And that's always what happens. Or they just do it anyway, and then they the CFTC will take 3 years to go after them, long after nobody cares about it anymore and everybody's lost their shirts. So, yeah. No, I'm not bitter.
Yeah, I'm not bitter. All right, next question is, how was Father's Day for you guys? Gosh, I don't even remember at this point. I guess that means it was good. I think I just barbecued and stayed in.
Yeah,
that's all I did. I grilled. It was good. Next one is, Have you read any of Clay Christensen's stuff on disruption, i.e. the innovator's dilemma? I am not familiar. Is that on your radar, Nick?
No.
Clay Christensen, the innovator's dilemma.
Cool. No, I'll
All
look
right,
into
it'll be on our reading list.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for passing it along.
Another Facebook question. Do you think Facebook will eventually ask for people's passports?
What company? What country did this? I saw. Yes, some country. I want to say Venezuela, but I'm probably wrong. They're requiring they're going to link up your Facebook to your national ID in order to combat fake news on the site. Yeah, just a bad idea. Hopefully, I mean, that'll be the end. Like anybody knows, like with crypto, we're all pretty, if they make you put in your ID to use the site, like you just don't use that site.
China did the same thing with WeChat. I feel like China, it sounds like.
Yeah, China can get away with it, but not people in the US tend to not do those things. We like things without passwords. Like we'd rather just be completely insecure and just use our information out there in the open than have to do work and upload something. So
vector password.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
Anyway.
And next question, what are you guys learning about at the moment? You guys can go first. What are you guys learning?
Always learning. Yeah, so the big pieces for me, besides the general self-improvement type stuff, if we're keeping in the crypto sector, it would be I'm working a little bit doing some peer-to-peer research, so I can figure out how to best write the next version of our miner. And then I'm also reading a book, I think I mentioned him last time, Bernard Lietaer, Rethinking Money, doing just some more kind of revolutionary economics learning. So kind of traditional paths for me. So anyway.
Just a little casual peer-to-peer networking study.
Brenda?
I think I'm always still learning Solidity. So it feels like it's ever changing. But I don't know. I don't want to share any of the personal stuff, but that's what about you, Mike?
Well, I've actually been secretly in the evenings or on the weekends tinkering around with JavaScript. Any of these different coding languages are all new for me, but I've tinkered with Python and now JavaScript, just sort of, I don't know, doing the fundamentals. But it's not coming easy to me. My brain does not work in this way. But I always think that it's good to sort of stretch into your weaker areas. So it's been fun. It's been cool. Give me a glimpse into a little bit of what Nick and Brenda do all day when they're staring at their coding environments. But other than that, I always try to keep up to date, and I'm always learning about nutrition and health and things like that. And been reading a lot about the carnivore diet and things like that, and insulin and all these different mechanisms in the body for weight loss and various things like that. So I don't know why I'm obsessed with it, but whenever I'm reading something outside of crypto, it's usually probably health related. So next question. You think price will bring attention from the Ethereum influencers? Obviously you're meaning TRB price. I think definitely. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think with the price action, everybody gets excited around making profit or making a good trade. And a lot of the Ethereum influencers, even the more developer focused ones, they're bag holders sometimes too, so for better or for worse, yeah, I think it will. So that would be a good secondary effect from our value increasing. So
Yep. Yeah, and we got a question in the chat quick. Sorry. We know that this will be changing in V2, but to give pools some assurances, can you remind us as to the current mitigations that exist against griefer disputing a valid price submitted by a miner, e.g. civil attacks in voting for their griefing dispute being correct, even though that we know. So what do we do to prevent somebody from voting in, say a miner submits a correct value and then they dispute the miner and then vote that it was a correct bad one? So it's token weighted voting. So there's no civil attacks in token weighting voting. Doesn't matter if you're one address or you split your tokens into two addresses. It's all token weighted. So the problem, so basically to win a vote, you would need to guarantee that you get over 51% of the voting share. That's why we want to increase the amount of voting share. So the more people we can have voting in the Tellor system, the better things will be. And then obviously the team. So right now I think we hold about 9% of TRB. We vote correctly, or at least we like to think we vote correctly. We won't vote against a valid price. So yeah, so you have some reassurances there that it's going to be very expensive to grief a miner in those cases. Yep. So that's it. Back to you, Mike.
Okay. All right. Was your settlement prices article well received? Did any bigwigs in the space reach out after? No, I haven't personally been messaged or anything about the article.
I had a few VCs who I know, they reached out and they just said they liked the article. Don't know if that's the outreach that we want, but it was, yeah, I mean, it's always cool. Some people, especially those who, I sent it to some people who come from more of the traditional finance world and they seem to really like it. So yeah, and it's going to be one of those pieces I think that'll have a little bit of longevity in the space.
Yep. So with that in mind though, guys, feel free to share it as much as you can. I know that you guys do, but yeah, continue. Next one is, have you traveled much? Nope. I don't think anybody really has done much travel. This is, I guess, the team's been tiptoeing into travel, obviously this week.
Well, maybe they mean travel in general, like not. Do they
lately? Right. It doesn't say have you traveled much lately.
Right. I don't think anybody's traveled much lately. But yes, Brenda's our world traveler, but yeah, no, we all like travel, I'd say. Brenda, anything to add?
No.
We've gone to DevCon the past few years too. So.
Yeah,
those are good travels.
We look forward to going to Bogota in 2021. Are you guys for or against Tellor mining pools? I would say we're agnostic about pools. That would be the official stance.
I mean, like if it's like, what are you? It's yeah. I mean, it's hard to put in a bubble. Like if you're gonna have one person control 99% of your coin, I'd rather have it be a pool. But if the choice is like, would you rather have 3 pools or 1,000? individual GPU miners? The answer is obviously I'd rather have 1,000 individual miners. So, you know, it's really tough to say like where you draw the line. Yeah, it's fine. You know, we want, like, my ideal people that we want mining the Tellor system, you know, it's a system. We want people who care, you know, who help us make the system better. So, you know, there's always, you're putting up your stake, you're helping us improve the miner, you're helping us test things out, you're helping us build a community. You know, you want the validators as part of it. So yeah. Yeah, you want people who are taking part in your system and as your validators to be as much of a part of your community as possible. And how you make that a reality, you know.
Sorry, you cut out there. Are you finished?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next one is part of why you resist hiring because you don't want to further split the dev share. Not suggesting it's the only factor, but it's a factor.
What was it?
Why do we resist hiring? I don't think we're resistant to hiring as much as right now. Contract work is exactly the right fit for what we need versus a full-time individual for what we need done. I think when we have needs that fit a candidate, then we'd be more than happy. We would love to expand the team when the time is right. So I don't know. I really don't think we're resistant. It's just, we're just not going to do it just to do it. And right now, you know, we found a good group of people to do work for us. And it's not broke, don't fix it.
And it's not like we're splitting the dev share between the three of us. The dev share goes to a team wallet, and we literally only sell enough to pay the team every month. So it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of our runway. So if you see there's no more TRB in the team wallet, that means like we're gonna go away. So you kind of want there, you know, and that's sort of the problem, because like right now we have quite a bit of tokens in the wallet, but the price, as much as we all like to think that the price will double in a year or something like that, like, you know, we have to remember like the price was under $3 a few months ago. You know, if it goes down to $2, like you can burn through. If we expanded the team to 10 people and the price goes down to $2, all that money is gone really fast. So you really just don't want to bring on a bunch of long-term commitments whenever sort of your ability to pay them is so variable.
Yep. What in crypto has surprised you the most so far this year?
Ooh, this year?
I think Black Thursday was the biggest surprise. You know, in retrospect, you're like, I'm not surprised by it, but like it took everybody by surprise.
Yeah. I mean, gas prices on Ethereum. Mm-hmm. Just the longevity of high gas prices is something that took me by surprise, for sure. So, yeah, hopefully we can get rid of that. And then, yeah, and I mean, DeFi is doing well, I'd say. So, and, you know, whether or not we want to talk about individual tokens or not, it's still the same crypto.
Yeah. Do you follow Naval Ravikant? I don't.
No. I mean, I've seen him speak a few times, but.
Sorry if I butchered that name. Is Rick Dudley a fan of Tellor?
I don't think Rick Dudley's a fan of anything. He might be mildly neutral towards Tellor, which is considered a great thing in Rick Dudley's eyes. No, I don't know. I haven't spoke to Rick about Tellor really. We've had a few conversations back in 2018 whenever he was so he was an EF grantee, and I met him in Prague the first time whenever we were out there for DevCon. So no, Rick's super cool though. So hopefully someday he can be a fan of Tellor.
If he isn't, he is a fan of Tellor. He just doesn't know it yet.
Yes.
Okay, so next one we covered is just asking about the hash pool issues. We covered that at the top of the call. If you're just now joining us, just wait for the recording. And the last question is, how political are you? Man, only as much as I need to be. I mean, it's for me personally, I try to be not political at all for as long as I can. And I guess I go through phases, it's an election year. So it's hard to not get pulled in to the politics a little bit. But
yeah, no, I mean, it's fun. Like I follow politics. Like I follow like national football. It's almost like you get it's a big game here in the US. So it's fun to look at the different strategies. But, as far as like political on a lot of things, I tend to be very opinionated on a lot of matters, in that, I have very strong views when it comes to foreign policy and especially economics and things like that. So I usually don't like anyone in Washington. But yeah, so I don't know if that makes me political or not. But yeah, like I like following it, and like as long as I'm not too depressed following it, I enjoy it. Brenda?
we're in DC. We're in the greater DC area. It's also really hard. We're like in the political capital of the country, so it's in our faces a lot too. So maybe compared to some people, we're all really political, but compared to maybe more people in DC, we're not that political, I don't think.
Well, DC's a weird town. It's not as political as you'd think it would be. Like most of the government workers, they tend to be pretty neutral.
Have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, this was a good call. Like I said, everyone go watch the beginning of the call. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, we'll be back probably in the office next week. So thanks everyone. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
There you go.